It's that time of week. Oh, boy. Oh, microphone. Doing stuff. All right. I assume this works. That sounds like it works. Let's turn down the music ever so slightly more. Okay. This thing on. The perfect blaster is the Vesper. Ah, we've already got people chiming off in the comments. Vesper with Talon compatibility. Have you guys actually, like, used a Vesper? It is a wonderful blaster to use. Absolutely. It is exquisite. Mine is right here. I don't want to show it off because YouTube really doesn't like that on live streams. That being said, has flaws. That's one of the reasons why my video is taking so long to get done. It should be out by Monday. It's gonna get like 12 views. I've spent 30 hours on this stupid video. I've reshot it twice. I hate this video so much. I like the blaster though, don't get me wrong. How's everybody doing this Saturday night? No Venom Pro or Nightingale 2.0. I never got my hands on a Nightingale 2.0. It looked really good. Everybody I heard that got one early hated it. Good to hear, Sebastian. Good to hear, Steven. Good to hear, Triangles. I don't know, Jing, because I don't live in Canada. Sorry. Oh, thank you very much for giving it a hype. The world inside my head. I remember you. The Moab is your perfect blaster? I think you could do better than Moab. It sounds like an awesome thing until you spend more time picking up pieces and putting it back together than it is actually firing the thing. How's it going? It's been a week. Doctor visits, more appointments, going to see in-laws tomorrow with baby since they haven't met baby yet. All sorts of fun things. I've been doing a bit of cleaning. I did swap out the processor in my computer yesterday. That was fun. That's always stressful, especially when it's like you could do one wrong move and screw everything up. And with computer prices the way they are, not good. Are you excited for Rebel Ops? Yeah, it looks fun. It looks like a lot of fun. Mostly just the Doom cannon, let's be honest. The other two blasters are pretty meh. Like, I guess if Nerf still had, like, that small gem of modability beyond complete internal swaps, the Alpha Hawk, the Deadeye would be pretty fun. The Alpha Hawk is a whatever blaster. And unfortunately, since we already know that the Deadeye is pretty much just going to be an Elite 2.0 Eagle Point with a pump, that's also kind of meh. The Doom Cannon is legit good. I think my issue is that, like, besides those three, it's a bunch of garbage tie-in blasters, and it really feels like... I have a theory. I do have a theory about Nerf thing. Do you think the I Did a Thing blaster shooting CO2 cartridges, do you think that had something to do with Hasbro hitting an abort button and immediately shifting to Elite? Because, like, there's only, like, 4 new blasters, counting, like, the Wolverine thing. Like, am I the only one that feels like there's really not a whole lot coming out? They just reskinned a ton of stuff and threw it on shelves. I like reading my chat and seeing the same thing spammed 8 times. It's incredibly frustrating. Built my own Nexus Pro X. I hope you like it, Goofy. Nexus Pro X is a great blaster. Doom Cannon review when it comes out, of course. I don't know if Hasbro will send me one. I hope they do. But I will definitely do my best to pick one out. Deadeye review? Probably not. So the thing with, like, I need to get better at doing this, and I'm not quite sure how. I have no hype for the Deadeye because I already know every single aspect about that blaster. Does anybody else understand that thought process? We already know every single detail about the Deadeye and the Alpha Hawk or Ammo Hawk. We know everything. Technically, we know everything about the Doom Cannon, but the Doom Cannon is kind of a exclamation point when it comes to modability. Because even if the internals are garbage, it wouldn't be that hard. There's enough room there, I would think, to be able to mod it, unless the blaster is solvent welded together, which it very well could be. But with the Deadeye, we know everything. With the Ammo Hawk, we know everything. With the freaking Wolverine smart AR system, we know everything. And that leads to, like, I have nothing to say. That's the problem. Like, I want to do more of those videos because I know people are asking for the video. And that's the thing, is like, I don't know how to do that because personally, I am not a colossal piece of crap big enough to, like, buy everything and say, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. Buy it in the link in the description, like some other YouTubers. I can't do that. That's why you see, like, I've shot videos that don't hit the channel because I just don't feel strong. Like, even the One Piece one, it's like, the only reason that video will hit the channel is because it's full of memes. Because I'm a One Piece fan. But everything else is like, I need to do the last of the End series video. I need to finish that one up. Other than that, it's like, I don't really, like, I'd have to do, like, in an ideal world, I would get all 3 blasters at the same time and do one video. That doesn't happen unless, like, Hasbro themselves send it to me or all the blasters happen to be on store shelves. So I'm not quite sure. I want to say no, there probably won't be a video, but my ideal video would be all 3 blasters in one because I can dedicate 3 to 4 minutes to talking about the Deadeye. I can dedicate 90 seconds to talking about the Ammo Hawk. But I want to do the, you know, the 10 to 20 minutes for the Doom Cannon. Do you think you'll get the new XShot Pro blasters early? That's a big maybe. They do send stuff out. They've had a lot of people churn through though, and I have not. The last person I talked to, which was I want to say back in like October, November, they're apparently already gone. Danny has a good working relationship with them, so I could talk to him and see if he has any feelers out for the new stuff. They did have me sign up for like some kind of new program that they had, but I mean, I actually don't know. It's kind of hit and miss. Like sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I love XShot. XShot always sends out the best PR packages and stuff like that. They always have like the big coffin for horror fire and stuff like that. They've always done far above and beyond what any other company even remotely tries. Dart Zone rarely sends anything, and when they do, it's usually like the one thing. And I've even asked Dart Zone multiple times for products to do videos on, and they just ignored me, which is frustrating because I rarely do that. And Nerf is like, they do send me press releases and stuff like that. I do have somewhat of a rapport with Nerf, but whether they actually send it or not, I don't know. I decline a lot of stuff from Nerf, in all honesty, because I have no interest in it. They want to send like random things like Marvel stuff. I don't have any taste for that. But in an ideal world, I would get things like let's say I got the Thrasher and the Spin Shot in one package. Those would be dedicated videos. But for the Rebel Ops line, I would love to do it all in one big video. Even though I know most people are just going to skip to the ends of the Doom Cannon stuff. Have you done an Axis Pro review? Is it even out yet? No, it's not out yet, Lucas. I have talked to Dart Zone, and they did mention they want to send me a sample, which is always scary because that means they actually watched my video. They said, I heard you wanted one. we're looking to send you out a sample, and that would be ideal because I honestly think the Axis Switch Pro is going to be one of the best blasters of this year. So like, think about it like this, right? You've got the Axis Switch Pro, which is going to hit store shelves. You're going to see it on store shelves at Walmart, I assume. We haven't gotten a Pro Flywheeler with a rechargeable battery as a primary on store shelves, have we? The closest thing we've gotten is the Venom Pro, but that's micro flywheels. Those only hit like 130 FPS. And then we got like the Vector, and we have the Maxim Pro. Those all take, and the Boxer Pro. Those all take AA's, but they can be. You can obviously put a battery in them. Is the Axis Switch Pro the first one that comes with a rechargeable battery? Because remember, all those other blasters I just listed also do like 150 FPS. Pardon me. The Axis Switch Pro is supposed to do 180, right? So I think that's the first one. I think if you were to compare the Axis Switch Pro to the Vesper, a lot of people are going to cringe. I think the Axis Pro would be a better blaster. Because it does something, the Vesper just does the one thing it wants to do incredibly well. But for 99% of people, I have a feeling that you're going to have a lot more fun with the Axis Switch Pro. I think, and the thing is, like, is it going to be good enough for competitive players? The answer is no, because nothing's ever good enough for competitive players. But I have a feeling the Axis Switch Pro will be like the dominant force you would see in any kind of play. I think it has that kind of universal appeal. I wonder how long it will be until we see a brushless one. But this all hinders on the fact that the blaster is actually good. If it doesn't work the way it needs to work, we've got a problem. I remember that time XShot made an anime skin for the Pro Series just for you. Yeah, they literally made me my own one. It's on the wall behind me, and nobody else really has one. There's a couple of other people with them because I've given them out. There's been a couple that have been auctioned off for clubs and stuff like that. But yeah, they made another anime one after that, but I literally have my own unique Walcom S7 branded XShot long shot. There's like, I think 9 in the world. No blaster could be truly perfect, but it can get pretty good, like the Spectrum. Man, Leviathan, I don't know if I'd put the Spectrum even in like the top 10. People really like that blaster. It's not bad. It's definitely a good blaster. I just don't think it's anything remarkably special. I just bought and opened the Vector Pro. It's so loud. It's not even that loud. Flywheelers have this thing, like, people really don't like the loudness of flywheelers. It's an intimidation factor. You're using it wrong. Do you think do you think someone's going to design D-style half drums for the Axis? I'm sure somebody probably will, but I don't think that's like a requirement. Because you're talking about taking a blaster that's like this, let's say this wide, and making it that wide, and that has its own problems. For like what? You're already talking about something that's going to hold 40 darts. Potentially 66 if you have the mags. Like, I wouldn't... I don't think drums are not the way to go. Because, like, yeah, you could potentially get, like 100 rounds on tap, which would be awesome. But it's like, at what point do you stop? There's a Goldilocks ratio of how much ammo you need to hold on tap and how much that affects your loadout. And I feel like 40 darts, 20 times 2 is more than enough for almost any person. And considering you'll also have another 4 mags on you probably, that's enough for virtually any engagement. You even have, like, I think the strong point you're missing, while I appreciate the capacity on the blaster without any gear, the thing that's going to bring the Axis Switch, the true killer feature of that blaster, is going to be the fact that you can have it up, you can fire off, 18, 19 rounds, or you can empty a mag, swap it, and then you'll instantly change to a full mag, and your now spent magazine while you have the blaster still up, revving and ready to go at any moment, you could swap out your empty mag. So there's almost no point in using that blaster. You should be caught off guard reloading. Are competitive players going to utilize that feature? Probably not. I think HVZ enthusiasts will understand why that's a huge deal. And since the only other blaster you could get to do that was the Select, and that is a pretty miserable blaster to work on by itself, I think the axis switch, especially since it has a PWM, meaning you could change the velocity of the flywheels and stuff on the fly, I have a feeling that's going to be an incredibly popular blaster for just about any foam flinging battle. That all depends on if Dart Zone actually nails the gimmick. That remains to be seen. Vector's not a visually pleasing blaster. It grows on you once you get your hands on it. Maxim Pro, I put an adapter for the XShot AEB battery. It worked, but missing a bit of torque. I won't go for a LiPo battery. Don't want to mess with those. That's fine. I think the Maxim Pro, even on AA, is good enough. Lucas with a $2 super chat. Should I have bought a sling fire from Goodwill for 19 bucks? No. No shot. There's no way. Like maybe $7, maybe 10 if you desperately wanted it. It's not a very good blaster in 2026. For $19, like even $9, I would have passed it. I went to Goodwill yesterday and I saw Chaos with the mag for $10. I passed on it. I also saw, damn, there was one other blaster I thought about picking up and I'm trying to remember what it was. Crap. But the Chaos was the one where it's like, I literally picked it up. It was like, do I really need this? Do I need another? I think I have 3 Chaos on, and they're huge. And somebody is going to be like, yeah, good job, Walcom. You didn't need another one. Because I passed on. I'm trying to remember. There was another blaster for $7. I'm trying to remember what it was, because I passed on it too. And it was something that I actually did want to pick up. Yeah. Do you take fan mail? I have a fan mail address. It's a P.O. box. That Goodwill is worse than yours. I mean, you have like Chaos bags. Yeah, but I bought those off Amazon when they were like $3 a piece and they came with the 40 rival rounds. I still want to use the Chaos more. I got an AM Pro today for $4 with magazine. That's pretty good. Man, what was that other blaster? This is bothering the crap out of me. There was like an eagle point there. There was not a Hypnos. What is that? Not Apollo. The upgrade of the Apollo in the Phantom line for Rival. I don't even have one, and I keep seeing them. I'm just waiting to find one in good condition for cheap. Helios. Thank you, everyone. I don't own a Helios as far as I know. I think that's like one of the only Rival blasters besides the Deluxe Stormtrooper blaster. I have the attachments for the Deluxe Stormtrooper blaster. I don't own the blaster. So I have the little pieces that everybody loses, but I don't have the blaster. I gave it to somebody for their birthday. But yeah, I think those are the only 2 Rival blasters I don't have now. Unless you count like the Helios, or not the Helios, the Apollo that was the Mandalorian or the Boba Fett one. I don't have that one. How is the baby? The baby is doing very good. He just got his vaccines on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. I think it was yesterday. Time kind of blurs. Bless my wife for getting as little sleep as she does, because she has been up. She actually took care of him both times in the middle of the night we woke up. Without me even saying anything. I'm very, very thankful to her. And yet I think we still woke up the 3rd time at like 8 or 9. He doesn't let us sleep past like 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. But he's been fine. He's doing good. He's very healthy as far as they want to do a scan on his hips, because I guess that's a normal thing. But other than that, yeah, he's fine. He's gained a ton of weight. He's like double the size he was when we first had him. It's amazing to see how much he's grown. And it's starting to get to the point where he's actually like a human. He's more than meets the eye. He now like looks around and he like reaches for stuff and he smiles and stuff like that. And it's really starting to come together for us. It's good. The next couple of months are going to be super fun. I'm excited for it. Tomorrow we go see Grandma because Grandma hasn't met her grandson yet. It's going to be crazy. I can't wait until we can actually do stuff with him. I was waiting on the Helios with the drum mag. I think that's what I was doing too, homely. Walcom doesn't hate rivals. It just feels the animal can be accurate outdoors. It's just the fact that Rival constantly puts out like single shot blasters and the Rival ammo was never really condoned to single shot. I don't hate Rival. I didn't like most of the blasters it uses. The Percy's is balls on amazing. And there are things like the takedown and the pilot and the knockout and stuff like that, which I'm a big... The Nerf Rival Vision is one of the best feeling grips Nerf has ever made. Having children is a blessing, a difficult one at times, but a blessing nonetheless. Yep, I'm sure it will be fun. I'm sure it will be fun. What's your opinion on the double stack Moose mags for HVZ? I'm sure it's fine. My first initial thing is that like half darts aren't good for HVZ. That even sets off with like the Axis Switch Pro. Is I don't think half darts are good for HVZ. The price of half darts is so astronomically high, even like the cheapest ones you can get your hands on, that you're better off using full length darts for almost everything, or Rival. The fact that you can still get 200 full length darts for like $8 to $10, not counting like Amazon specials. Yeah. Plus you start to get into the point where zombies get bonuses for taking darts and turning them in. And when you have half darts, you're giving them double the points. Give them the most awkward, biggest darts you can. I honestly wonder what would happen in HVZ if like everybody just started using just Mega. Like, because Mega is usually like that ammo type that does everything, and I think this is slept on. I was like, next time I do like a major HVZ, which maybe never, but if I did do another one, I would be working on the best Mega Dart Blaster I can get my hands on. Alternatively, I would use like a Mega Megalodon. But the fact that Mega can do everything, and if you play your cards right, you can get those darts back before the zombies do, because they're so big and easy to pick up and carry. You can't carry as much ammo, but you also, like, I've never seen a zombie that, like, really, unless it's just a straight up unstunnable, like, the Mega Dart will do all of it. And I was astonished that not more people play around that. Everybody wants to use their short darts and their Rival and stuff like that, but from every game I've played, they throw out those special zombies like candy, and it quickly gets to the point where it's like those blasters don't really do a whole lot. Because it's not exactly the massive horde you're always worried about. That gets to be a point, but it's the special zombies that cause the problems. And I feel like if everybody was running Mega, if you had a whole squad of like 20, 30 people, all equipped with Mega Blasters, like even just stock Mega Megalodons, that would be a really hard thing. But I feel like if you also went that route, they would be specifically trying to take those Mega Darts as quickly as possible. I don't want to do half darts because it'd break my HVZ Club's hard cap. I mean, I'd just use full lengths. There's a reason people... Like, that's kind of the saving grace with a lot of the full-length blasters still existing. But there's so many full-length dart blasters out there. I feel like, still, like, if you could get a pretty nice lubed up, maybe even cut down double punch, I feel like that's still probably one of the best HVZ blasters you can get your hands on. Because that thing will fire as fast as you want it to. And you could double tap, triple tap, all that kind of stuff real easy. What's his first blaster going to be? When he's old enough? I don't know. It's whatever he wants. He can literally have whatever blaster he wants. Maybe he won't even like blasters. I don't know. I'm not going to force anything on him. Mega's getting harder and harder to find. I still see fake Mega on Amazon. But you are right. I guess I'm kind of spoiled because I have a collection. To be honest, I've never gotten HVZ. It kind of feels like mag dumping. Honestly, if you're playing HVZ right, which is super hard, you don't do much firing. Most HVZ is like, the pro players are the ones that are like running around with Mavericks. Cause like, you really don't need to do a lot of dart blasting, if that makes sense.
Let's rock.
If you're actively hunting zombies, you're playing it wrong. HVZ is an objective game, so your whole point is to get to the objective. And the only time you should be firing is when there's a zombie within 20 feet of you. Which is why half darts are completely wasted. And it's like, and yeah, unless you want to just burn money, go for it. But yeah, the zombies come to you. You generally don't have to take pot shots at zombies because it doesn't accomplish anything. Unless it's like, you really want to screw with people, like, yeah, then you can hose into a group of them and they go back and respawn and they come back. They just have to respawn usually out of sight. So it's like, you're not accomplishing anything but delaying them for a couple of seconds. And then the game organizers are just going to throw unstunnables at you, which are the ones they can only walk, but they can't be taken out. Those are the ones I don't like, because I remember, I'm not going to say which game it was, but they threw like 8 of those at the humans, and it was like we were just being herded around by like cattle, because you can't get rid of them. So they're constantly walking towards you, and you're constantly moving away from them. It didn't feel like a fun game. But, I mean, it's one of those things. Element Rider with a member for 30 months. I feel like Mega and Mega XL are very situational blasters because in terms of mass, Mega would equate to small shotguns and XL big gauge. There aren't a lot of, like, places where Mega XL shines. Mega generally always has its use. The reason why XL and Demolisher rockets and stuff should have like really good uses in your games is because they're super inaccurate and hard to utilize. If your game doesn't have specific rules for specific ammo types to encourage people to use those different ammo types, your game is probably very boring. That's my opinion. Thank you very much for being a member for 30 months, Element Rider. Do I like the Centurion? No. No, I do not. I don't think a lot of people like the Centurion because the Centurion never really worked all that well. The Mega Magnus, which is the next blaster that came out after the Centurion, was better than the Centurion. Even Ray Squad, which used to be a decent third-party art, make FVJ Megas now. Yeah, heck yeah. Quick review on the fake Megas. Some darts don't even have the... I mean, you can fix that. Hyper will become very rare in the future. Actually, I wonder how hard Hyper is to get right now. Let's find out. I think there's fakes. You can still buy canisters. You can still buy big bags. You can still buy all the blasters by the looks of it. So yeah, it might be rare in the future, but it's definitely not rare right now. You can buy a bucket of 500. I'm almost certain these are knockoffs. But you can buy a bucket of 500 for $20. Doesn't sound like a lot. NERF sells 200 for 12. That's official. Yeah, Hyper will probably become kind of rare, but I also think Hyper's going to be one of those things where it's like nobody cares. I think Hyper is kind of a lost cause. I don't think Hyper ever really stood a chance. The Lonksers, I don't have any experience with the Lonks, but if you have a 3D printer, get a Lonks. If you don't have a 3D printer, get a Zebra. I think I already have them, but I will make sure I have every single ammo refill of Hyper, if I don't already. Man, that's really good iced tea. We picked up like a carton of powdered Lipton iced tea. It's the best powdered tea I've ever had. Planning to go to Maryland Mayhem. Any tips at all? I've never played, so I wouldn't know how Maryland runs. If you're playing HVZ, my point still stands. Don't fire unless you have to. Which is like, I'll say it and I'll break that rule. But if you want to like actually be good, it's the one who doesn't, like, if you're just sitting there taking shots at zombies, then like, yeah, no, don't. Number one HVZ tip is to check your corners. Actually, I think number one HVZ tip is don't rely on other people. I remember one of the first times I played HVZ, one of the first things I saw was somebody, I'm talking within like, I walked out of like HQ and hadn't even really gotten to anything yet. And somebody was screaming about, why didn't you have my back? And they threw their blaster on the ground and stormed off. Like, that was the first thing I saw. I believe Clowny was with me. I don't even think I was playing at that point. That's so much iced tea. I mean, it's also full of a lot of ice. But yeah, it's enough. It's like reduced sugar stuff too. I also use, like, it said... Because that's like nearly a gallon jug, and I put in like enough for 32 ounces of ice, and it's still way too much. The problem with Hyper is Nerf never did a good blaster to shoot it. I kind of agree with that, especially with the Rush 40 being one of the only good blasters. A Rush 40 is actually really good. I liked the little thumb spring-loaded hoppers they had. Those were pretty cool. Take the long way around corners. Oh yeah, blind corners are horrible in HVZ. Why do you think people push back on Ultra Darts but Mega Darts and Mega XL had a better reception? Because people are hypocritical, Christopher. Everybody's like, a new ammo type will never take off, but they loved Rival. A new ammo type will never work good. I don't want a dart that doesn't work with all my blasters, but they bought Mega. That's one of the things that like I try to keep consistent on. It's like, I don't think the 50 caliber foam dart is the future. I think this is a flawed ammo type and anything could surpass it. Unfortunately, nothing has. I very much believe that there is a dart that could work far better. Something more durable, more aerodynamic, safer. I'm wondering though, do you think I have anything on that, the fact that, like, I want to know when that I did a thing Nerf thing. Because I think it happened a while ago. And...
let's rock!
It exploded. And I wonder if that was, like, Nerf, like, hitting the button, like, we're done, we can't do this. Because I wonder about that. I really do. Lucas Wells with a $5 super chat. Just got done with my first mod, the Worker Full Auto Strife. That's actually a really good place to start. Kinda mid, to be honest. I regret buying because I have like 4 Rapid Strikes and 2 Infinises. I feel like you did something wrong there. Are you using just double A's for it? Because that would be why it's kind of mid. Even today, I think that kit's like, what, 20 bucks? I can find out. It's a really easy to drop in kit. Like, you have to work for it, but... Strife. What is wrong with Amazon? A lot of things. Strife Full Auto. It's like 22 bucks, 27 bucks. And it's good enough. It's better than a Rapid Strike. Rapid Strikes out of the box are terrible. The only way you can be like it's kind of mid is if you're using AA batteries. Boomco straws. I think Boomco straws would work if they replace the rubber heads. The issue with Ultra is that it's very much an obvious cash grab until they made AccuStar the garbage to use. To be fair, when you had a Mega or an Ultra Dart actually go straight and true, they were insane. The few times the RNG worked out for the Nerf Ultra Dart, It was nuts. That's why I always had hope for the line. Is Jello allowed in HVZ? No, that'd be the most boring game imaginable. They would never have anything other than unstunnables out in the field. I think Ultra had plenty of chances to be a good dart. Dragon darts are cool, but the price is abysmal. And unfortunately, those darts just don't work very good. I wonder if, like, a composite of, like, a NERF Ultra core surrounded by, like, a couple of millimeters of standard foam would be superior. But it's like, everything about the dart, I feel like, has almost been... Like, we're playing with higher weight darts, and we're playing with the bamboo darts, which reduce friction. I wonder. Because, like, the reason why darts have the holes in the back of them is because it allows the air pressure to hit the front of the dart instead of the back of the dart, which would help it be a lot more accurate and stable in flight. Because you're just hitting the back of the dart, it's just all the pressures out here that it's going to wobble and be terrible. But if you hit it at the front, the back end kind of works like fletchings. Which is one of the reasons why half-length darts are better than full-length darts, is because this will catch the wind and destabilize it. You don't quite get that arrow paradox that you would get, because the darts aren't long enough to really get that wobble or anything, plus they're solid foam, obviously. I wonder if there's, like, I think the future is going to be some kind of, like, combination of material that would be far too expensive, but maybe that would happen at some point. That's what I feel like, is like we need to combine different types of materials into one dart. I think Boomco was close. Honestly, I think Boomco, if we could get Boomco with not rubber heads, like the old Light Strike blasters, you know what I'm talking about, the proto Boomco. Mega Ultra, because Mega is fun. Ultra took way too much time before it discovered a true purpose. And honestly, like, I think Mega just has more use because we can find easier uses for it. Ultra was just worse normal darts. Does Hyper not have a chance in HVZ? I don't think there's a single HVZ that will allow you to use Hyper, because it's like the rounds would just bounce everywhere and become trash. What's your favorite all-round blaster on a budget? The Adventure Force Cricket Pro. It's like $7-8. So that's why siren darts are so inaccurate. I didn't experience them being inaccurate. I'm pretty sure my video, unless you want to join the Reddit squad and be like, oh, Walcom faked his entire video on siren, there was a second shooter off screen. That's also why his chronograph ratings were so much higher, is because those were all digitally edited. People are crazy. Those darts worked. They really did. But they only worked in springers. And yeah, they were also expensive. It's like $5 for 20 darts. Of course that wasn't going to work. And why was the packaging for those darts so freaking huge? I still think, like, that's the right idea. I feel like the Ultra foam was definitely a lot more durable than your standard foam that we see. But I don't think any of those darts, like, they just don't seem to work. And I think the biggest problem is, like, you put that in a flywheeler, and the flywheeler breaks itself. So, yeah. I mean, that probably was the biggest letdown for Siren, was they had to delay everything because their darts didn't work in their flywheeler. And it makes me wonder if they should have just avoided putting out a flywheeler. Like, imagine if Siren came out with the MPP and it used, like, I haven't tried it yet, but I bet you those darts work really good in a motorized piston pump. I should probably try that. I got enough piston pumps and I got enough darts. Am I surprised there aren't more AEBs coming out this year? No. Because I think by now, everybody's seen, just like what the BK1S did, everybody's seen the MPP. You can go to Walmart and pick one up off store shelves. You have to make a blaster that's better than that to either justify the price you're going to pay for it, or you have to undercut that blaster and still have it be good. I feel like we'll still see some kind of AEBs in the future. But right now, it's like, why would you waste your time on that? Meanwhile, I feel like Dart Zone actually did. We'd have to test more, and I will. But with like the Axis Pro, if that thing is still hitting like 75 plus on the target test, then yeah, flywheelers are not gone. When I stated what I was talking about with the MPP, that was not talking about the fact that like flywheelers could be any semblance of accurate. And it's weird because I've seen so many people throughout the last decade talk about how their flywheeler is accurate, their flywheeler does this. And yet every single time, especially it's like there was somebody who said like, oh, my addition, you put it in your flywheel cage and it makes your flywheeler 20 times more accurate. And then they come over and shoot against my target and it's no good. Like, it's the same thing as every other flywheeler, basically, with lowered velocity because they used a choke, essentially. I feel like, I don't know if I did enough testing on the Vector, but I felt like the Vector was like 85% the way there to a Springer. And so if that can continue happening for Dart Zone, if the Axis Pro can still do like 80s in accuracy testing, then, or is it precision testing? I always get the two confused. Then I don't think we need AEBs. There'll still be a market for them, but that almost just relegates the fact I was like, well, maybe you just need high velocity, like 250, 300 FPS ones like the Sweetheart Storm. There are limitations to the AEB platform. It's kind of the jack of all trades, master of none. It's not quite as good as a typical pump action Springer, yet it doesn't fire as fast and it's not as handy as a flywheeler. It kind of depends on what you're going for. It feels like using an ability in a video game that has a cooldown, because there's usually a pretty lengthy trigger response delay when you're using one of those blasters. The first shot is pretty quick. It's the follow-up shots that are slower. While on a flywheeler, most of the time, your first shot is a little bit slower, but your follow-up shots are much quicker. And I think it's the latter that is more important. But a lot of this goes down to how you're using your blaster. And if you're trying to use a flywheeler as like a long-range precision instrument, it's not going to work. You're not supposed to use an SMG for sniping. It's not a thing you should do. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It doesn't mean you can't get lucky doing it. But if you're talking about like 80-foot engagement ranges, 80 foot's actually still pretty good for a flywheeler. 80-foot engagement ranges with cover. The flywheeler's going to have a devil of time. The Springer is going to be far more consistent. But if you're talking like 40-foot engagement distances, even with cover, flywheelers can do a lot more. And the other thing that like kind of benefits the flywheeler is that it can suppress. Springers can, but not nearly as well. And I think that's a big one for flywheelers and why they're still dominating even in tournament spaces. Flywheelers have their use, and they are very good at what they do. They are suppressive tools, and they lock down objectives, and they push extremely well. It's not that Springers can't do it. I've watched people run up on bunkers with Gen 1 caliburns, lean over bunkers and point blank people with a blaster that's this freaking long. But you would make the argument that a Springer could do or a flywheeler could do the exact same thing better. And it can do it while firing and moving. And that's where, like, people don't understand how broken that is. If you're running up to an objective, firing at it, so the other person doesn't really have a clean chance to lean over and hit you, and like their only chance to do it is when you're close enough that they are very certain they can get you before you reach around, that's kind of why flywheelers are so broken, because they can do that. Springers, like, yeah, you can slam off, rattle off shots. It's just not the same. It can do it, but you would make the argument flywheelers can do it better. AEBs sit in like the Goldilocks zone. They're not as good as Springers. They're not as good as flywheelers. What they excel at is doing the jobs of both pretty good. That's where those kinds of things. Like, they're never going to be as fast firing as flywheelers. They're never going to be as handy as flywheelers. The best AEBs, the most compact AEBs, are still going to have problems because physics exists. Flywheelers will always win that round, I feel. Like I say, win that. They're going to have the advantage. If you were to give them a score in terms of their power, like when it comes to close range, a flywheeler is going to be an S. A motorized piston pump or some other AEBs gonna be like a B, maybe an A. And a Springer is gonna be a C. When it comes to long range, flywheeler's gonna be like a D. Their motorized piston pump's gonna be a B. And then your Springer, your standard magnified Springer is gonna be probably an S. And then it's like when you combine both of those, when you get the A, it's gonna have marginal stats across the board, but that's still going to have its use. It's a more flexible type of blaster. So I don't foresee a lot more of those coming out. I honestly wonder how long we would see the motorized piston pump still on shelves. Is the motorized piston pump going to be around for 3-4 years on store shelves? Who knows? I don't know if Dart Zone will ever try to take past that, and I think it's super smart for Dart Zone to have pivoted in a different direction by trying to make not only flywheelers really good, but then on top of that, try to make the first like real blaster in the pro scene that has any kind of usable gimmick. We'll see how that plays out for them. What are the worst half darts? The Game Face quick darts I think were similar to the old jet blaster darts. Honestly, it might be the NERF Pro ones. I like the way they look and how the heads look, but every single time I try to use them, they suck. Hey! How you doing? Dude, you need to come over at some point. Oh, Proctophile. It's been too long. I have to smoke meat and have you over. Hey, Ghost Manta! The Vector quickly became my go-to blaster. See, I haven't used it in a game. I feel like the Vector is, like, really hard to beat. Again, I don't think anybody is going to say the Vector is better at being an accurate blaster than the Nexus Pro X. But I think everybody can agree the Vector's like 85% there. You can come by tomorrow. I will be at the in-laws tomorrow in Aberdeen, so it won't work tomorrow. I will see if we can't pick up some meat, though, and have something go on sometime this week or something. I mean, XShot kept the long shot on shelf. This is true. It's kind of disappeared off and on Vesic, but this is true. Do you like blasters bought after real steel or fantasy ones? I like the aesthetic that XShot has going on. I like stuff that looks like it could exist, but it doesn't. I'm not a huge fan of the dumber fantasy designs. Some, like, I think most of, like, Rebel, most of, like, Dart Tag can work very well. And I did like the initial idea of what we had going on with NERF Pro, with the Sender and the Torrent. But I really like XShot. Like, they're aggressive, but they're not real. I like that aesthetic. I like the old school, like, Nerf End Strike. That's the, like, it doesn't have to mimic a real firearm, but I want it to look like it could. You know what I mean? I want it to look like something Keltec came up with after a pile of blow and a bunch of Red Bull. Nerf Pro Darts have that glue problems. Yes, it sucks because I have so many of them now because they were so cheap. That new Vesper Jaunt is dope AF. The only thing that appeals to me more than the new AEB check. Like, again, I want to show mine. Screw it. If the stream gets closed, it's because I wanted a vacation, I guess. I love this blaster. You can see, like, I will have this video out as very, very soon. I've struggled with this video. It will be my next video. But the problem I have with it is the fact that it doesn't have any kind of automatic shutoff, which is ridiculous. It will literally, if you just leave a LiPo in it plugged in, it will kill your LiPo and potentially catch on fire and destroy itself. And you're actually, well, just don't leave a LiPo in it, it's easy. you'll probably end up doing it at some point. There's no beeping, there's no warning, there's no nothing. It just literally will just drain a lipo to 0. The fact that that's even a thing when it's like the one thing that everybody preaches about is lipo safety, and it's like even the FDLs had at least a beeping, but like a lot of blasters, even the motorized piston pump has beeping. A lot of blasters will even just have automatic shutoffs. If your blaster, if you have a 3S lipo and it goes below like 10.6 volt or whatever, it'll just shut off. That's important. The Vesper has none of that, and there's no way to update the firmware. It could have already been updated for all I know. But as far as like the model that I have, just drains the battery to 0. That is a huge problem. And also, no ammo counting. The blaster has everything it needs for ammo counting, and it doesn't do it. I know it's like superfluous. I want it, especially when the ammo readout is directly under my red dot. It doesn't have it. Being that I have a 3D printer, after I printed the Alchemist as the first 3D printed blaster, I wanted to get an HMP LMG, but I want to know if there are better flywheelers. That thing's rad. I do have one. Mine never worked, unfortunately, so I couldn't really put it in a video. I still think you're better off with a Boxer Pro right now. I think if you bought a Boxer Pro and did 3D printed stuff for it, you'd have more fun than an MHP LMG. The MHP LMG suffers from, like, it's a thing, but it's meant to be as realistic as possible for a foam flinging armament. And that doesn't equate to being a practical armament. You can, on one hand, you can have chains that never delink, and on the other hand, you have chains that delink with every shot. When in reality, you want a chain that delinks every 15 to 20 shots. Does that mean there's space for AEBs to improve? I think like physics is always going to be a thing. Tech is always improving, but it's like really one of the only ways AEBs can improve is either on the lower end, where they become cheaper, they hit less performance, but they fire faster and they're far handier to use, or on the higher end, like the Sweetheart Storm. The Sweetheart Storm blows the motorized piston pump out of the water, full stop. That is such an amazingly designed blaster that is so expensive and so impossible to recommend because it's nearly impossible to swap the spring and stuff out. And every single time you do it, you risk breaking a wire or something. If you could get a Sweetheart Storm with a quick barrel and a quick spring change, it would be the best blaster of all time. It would be heavy unless you found out a way to make it work on lighter materials that aren't steel that also would be durable. Man, the Sweetheart Storm is so nice. It's not the best trigger ever, but the fact that its trigger is literally just a little plastic piece that presses in the micro switch and it feels great, and it has that fire response time to back it up. Pinnacle of all blasters, but it's expensive. They tend to break themselves. I can't recommend it. Wow, which would be more important to get first, red dot or sling? Sling. Absolutely a sling. I don't think anybody can disagree with me on that. You don't even need a red dot. Like, honestly, a red dot doesn't do anything. Nerf, when you're actually playing, is all instinctive shooting. What do you think about a modded Infinite? Could a loading method? I love the loading methods. So you think it'd be cool? There are people that have kind of modded them, but there's a cap. The brain board and everything, the max you can give it is 6 volts, and you're stuck with full length darts. And it's also a pain in the butt to mod. If Price and grab the BK1S and grab it, and they both have their purpose. I don't think the BK1S has any purpose if you grab a motorized piston pump. I think a motorized piston pump wins just automatically. It's the same thing, but better. Like, is there any reason to have both? I don't think there is. I'm considering the quick edge. You won't find a quick edge. Find me a quick edge. I will buy it. I will buy all of them before you can. I heard the CW77. Buy one of those. Like, that doesn't exist. You can't buy it. Like, you can't. I mean, You're talking about blasters that are unobtainable. Nobody's selling, unless something has changed in the last 6 months, nobody's selling the Curtain 77. Nobody's selling the Quick Edge. Especially the Quick Edge. I tried to get one for years. Yeah, but you can just lower the spring in the motorized piston pump and hit the same fire rate, I'm sure, that old Nerf guy. I don't think the BK1S's burst is fast enough to warrant using it. Like, you say the BFK1S is skinny, sure, shorter, sure, more comfortable for a shorter person. I mean, I've seen so many people modify the MPP to have, like, no stock and stuff like that to make them shorter. Like, I don't really think there's an issue there. Cost for tipped $1. Oh my god, I need to freaking replace that so you can't do $1 super chats anymore. Thank you very much for the $1. Talk about the Sweetheart Storm being breakable. P.S. When you're fixing one in the field, make sure it's not chambered to avoid getting shot in the nads. Ask me how I know. Well, I mean, you shouldn't be fixing a Sweetheart Storm in the field. I may have found one online. I posted in general Discord server, but I'm not sure the listing is real. Quick Edge. Okay, let's find out. I'm in the general and I don't see it. Nerf and stuff? Okay. That is... Yeah. So, here's the thing. Yes, that's a thing. Yes, I would buy that immediately. The problem is, like, you're talking about... You found, like, some kind of crazy... Like, not eBay. You know what I mean? Like, you're buying one secondhand. Is that a... charger and everything? Yeah, I would absolutely buy that. 121 euro? Yeah. No, I 100% buy that. If you don't buy that, you're stupid. Does it work? Because most of them don't. I wonder if it works, but even at that price point, I would buy it. I would buy it right now just to have 2 of them. That is a very good price. Oh, it's missing the stock. Oh, it's in another picture, though. That's weird. Why is it in one picture and not in the other? Yeah, I'd buy that. Are you kidding me? 100%. 121 euro? Yeah. I'd buy it. Even if it didn't work, I'd buy it. Because that's like the only one you're probably going to find. There aren't a lot of them out there. So I guess my joke is find another one for sale. Have a good night, Element Rider. The Quick Edge, I need to fix the battery on mine, because unfortunately the battery on mine went out. The Quick Edge is not a very complex blaster. I would really hope that we would see a modern remake of it, because I think the thing that got the Quick Edge was the materials. I think that's the reason. The like, it's very flimsy in some places, and the internals are like just hard, brittle plastic. Do you think I should trade my Spring Thunder for a Smiley? Completely different blasters, but I think the Spring Thunder is kind of old hat at this point. Do you think the Nerf Ammo Hawk will be good? It'll go buy a Quad Rod. It's the same blaster. I think a bit bigger question is actually, where do you think the hobby can go from here? We've maxed out most of the technology. No, we haven't. What are you talking about? Every year there's some massive new development in the hobby. That's what makes this hobby so much fun. You think, like, 5 years ago we didn't have a Venom Pro. Like, 5 years ago we barely had the Desert Pigeon. Or Desert Pigeon, or whatever it's called. Like, things just keep getting crazier and crazier. And as motor tech and brushless and all that stuff becomes more and more available, more and more available, why? Yeah, it's going to get nuts. And then you got things like the Vesper that have a Tamagotchi built into them. It's crazy. We have so much more going on. No, no reason to be sorry, Dragons. Like, it's just go buy a Quadrat. Unfortunately, that's what Nerf does. The Quadrat, the Fang, there's probably several other blasters that fit that exact same 4-dart smart A-arm direct prime pullback pistol. It's like a blaster design that's as old as time for Hasbro. There's probably been 20 blasters similar to it within the last 10 years. I don't think HPA has much staying power. There's so many issues with HPA. The barrier for entry is the biggest. Tanks are hundreds of dollars, or you have to buy really heavy tanks that are still very expensive and don't hold much air. Filling tanks is pretty difficult. You have to find some place near you that can reliably fill a tank and do it at a pretty good price. You have to get tanks hydro tested regularly. The tank I bought has to be hydro tested. It's probably fine. It still has, air in it, and it works fine. But it has to be hydro tested before a place will do it. And then you have to, places that fill tanks won't exactly do hydro testing. And then you're talking about, like, okay, so you have a tank. You have to have the tank on your body somewhere. That's not a small thing either. And then you have to have the line constantly connected to your blaster. Or if you have the bottle stock on your blaster, it's going to be a big bulbous thing. And again, if you have a bottle small enough to fit like in a stock or something like that, you're going to get like a dozen magazines and then you're going to be out of air. So like no matter what you do, HPA has its limits. Where HPA excels, I feel, is like high-powered, single-shot, semi-auto. Then it's like, oh, if my air tank only gives me 16 magazines, well, if I'm doing semi-auto single shots at like 250, 300 FPS, that's fine. That's where HPA kind of like the drawbacks surpass it, because flywheelers hitting that performance point, extremely difficult. Springer's hitting that performance point, not super difficult, but you can imagine one-handed semi-auto versus pump action. Obviously, the one-handed semi-auto is going to be better. And, like, really, the thing is, though, like, let's say you want to do HPA, unless you have a game that you need 400 FPS, right? A Sweetheart Storm is not HPA, and yet it hits 300 FPS, and it's semi-auto, and it feels like an HPA blaster. Red Guardian X with a $10 super chat. What do you think about the lever action dome blaster? I hate to be that guy. I did a video on it, and it is incredibly nice. Mine stopped working, and Solon has fixed it for me. I didn't have much experience building a, what is that thing called? The lever, you know what I'm talking about. That lever action, slab. I don't have much experience building one, so I didn't know quite, but like, I don't even remember what was exactly wrong with it, like an O-ring came out of place or something, but it's back up and running, and it works now. It's fantastic. It's super high quality. It's way better than a slab, that's for sure. Did Airsoft and Paintball for years. HP is what pushed me out of this hobbies. Cool to see this hobby, but I think most people underestimate the logistics. Dude, it's like, how annoying can one thing be to try to use, you know? Ghost Mantis entirely right. How annoying can it be to have to procure a tank, have the tank registered and regulated, have it filled, then also have to deal with everything else that has to do with the blaster on top of the weight. Like, I have a $300 fiberglass tank, or whatever it is, carbon fiber tank. It's light. It's still huge. It's like carrying a watermelon on you. Like, is it a huge deal? No, not really. It's still super annoying, though. I'm sure if I had, like, one of those 3D printed blasters that use, like a really cool electronics and, like, you know, sniper core or whatever inside them, I'm sure I'd still be a lot happier with it. My experience is mostly with the Milsig, and those were not great. Yeah. It's going pretty okay. How about you, Foam Flinger? Yours broke several times. Just finished fixing it. I mean, I'm trying to remember. I don't know if Soul is... Okay, he's still here. I don't exactly remember what happened with mine. I literally was just using it and it kind of stopped working. Stopped sealing very good. But, like, other than that, it's super great. It's way better than the slab. It feels much nicer to use than the slab. Boxer Pro is the best Boxer Pro is the short dart pro version of the Ragefire. This is correct. I wonder if it's possible to stock on an ohm. Yes, there is the stocked version. I'm kind of mad I don't have it. Because, like, as much as I like the compact lever actions, with the Nerf ones, you need that extra point of contact. Doing, like, I guess maybe not. It all depends on your playstyle, but when I use lever actions, unless I can one-hand sling it, which you can't do with Nerf ones, I would much rather have a stock. It doesn't have to be a long stock, but it has to be a stock. What blaster are you most excited for right now? I'm going to be totally real. It's the spin shot. I'm the most excited for the spin shot right now. I think the Doom Cannon second place. I think the Thrasher is nice. I don't know. It's not going to be like groundbreaking or anything like that. But keep in mind, we also don't know what all's coming out so far. We only know what we've seen. As far as I know, XShot has not officially announced anything. In fact, I posted a screenshot of the spin shots listing on Walmart, which makes me think we're going to have it sooner than later. And they took them down. Like, yeah. Hey, Cooley, nice to see you. Thanks for coming out. All I really want is a double-barrel, dual-stage trigger sledge fire. I don't know why we still don't have that. This shoots lasers out of the box. I love it. Yeah, it's very good for what it is. Like, it has good game. The Nexus Pro X out of the box is perfectly fine. I like the Striker 2.0 more, but, like, even then, I like the Volcanic more than any of those. Do you like XShot Insanity? I think it's one of the most fun toy blades out there right now. Like, they're not expensive. They're inexpensive. They're pretty okay quality-wise. They could always be better. XShot's kind of a budget brand, though, but the gimmick is super fun. The Stagecoach fits that bill. Yeah, but that's like, how expensive is a Stagecoach? That's an expensive blaster. And it's not quite the same. I gotta figure out why this chair hurts my tailbone. Like, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's like I feel like I'm sitting in it wrong or something. My prime on my Volcanic makes me sore after 50 shots or so. The Volcanic would definitely benefit from having a T-prime pull. I think I said that in my video, though. What about the Dart Zone one from your newest video? Are you talking about the Vector or the Volcanic? Check the spin shot is on Walmart. So did they increase the price? That uncharacteristic. How would you have checked that? XShot, spin shot? Yeah, it doesn't come up in the search. Like, the spin shot was up, but then they pulled it. I don't think the spin shot was 15. Yeah, the page for the spin shot isn't up anymore. We don't know if the spin shot has break action. The spin shot is going to be the story of the year. Right? Because it's like, does it have break action? Is it hammer action? We don't know. XShot won't just do a short and tell us, or post it, or like even just email me like, hey, it's this. Like, no, they're just making us guess and wait. I have a feeling, even at the price they posted, if it's not break action, not hammer action, it's still going to be a fine blaster. Trying to... I kind of hope it has break action, though. What's your favorite pump action blaster? Right now? Damn. What is my favorite pump action blaster right now? That's a good question. I don't know how to answer that. It's probably my Javelin M4X. It could be my SPL 2.2. I'm not sure. It's not going to have a hammer prime. I think we've pretty much confirmed it's not a hammer prime. It looks like it should, but it's like, even if it doesn't, like, you guys really, like, I can understand the disappointment that it's not hammer action, but that's not entirely fair because it was never said to have hammer action. Like, I've already had people get super mad at me because they're like, well, you said it was going to be hammer action and it was the hammer action. And it's like, no, it was all speculation. And every single step of the way, it was like, does it have it? Does it not have it? We don't know. It looks like it does. Well, then it doesn't, right? So the next thing up is like, does it have break action? There's never been a single confirmation that it was going to do break action. It looks like it could. It's hard to see how that blaster loads because we can only see the left side of the blaster for the most part. And if you look at the both photos, it's changed. By the way, the rendering for the blaster between the first box we saw and the second box we saw, whatever one's actually true, maybe neither of them, maybe both of them, we don't know. The left side of the blaster doesn't look like you can even load it because there's like the shell molds around the front of the cylinder for most of it. So we can barely see the right-hand side or the right-hand side of the blaster. It's covered by the box. So we can't tell if it's like on that side of the box, on the right-hand side, if there's a big open loading area or not. It looks like the shell could break, but there's no confirmation of that. It might not. And so the very real possibility is that we get a T-pull prime revolver with a B-car and 20 darts for $15. And you want to sit here and tell me, Chad, that's not worth the money? Oh, it's not an outlaw. Yeah, but it's also not $40 like the outlaw. Like, come on. Like, the outlaw can still be its own thing. One thing is for sure, I'm sure XShot has seen people talk about this, and they're like, crap, dude, we need to make one. So hopefully that comes to pass. Next year, we might have an outlaw. But I'm still hoping for break action, because even if it has the T-pull prime, the break action would just make that blaster the best. But there's a good chance it's going to do neither of those things. And if you seriously want to sit there and tell me that a pro level blaster with 20 darts and a B car for $15 isn't worth your time, then you are spoiled rotten. And I say that as somebody who has literally everything, and I'm still excited for this blaster because it's just gonna be fun. The Outlaw's $40. It was. I think it's even more expensive on their website. Might be $35. But yeah, it was like a $35, $40 blaster. It's $36 off their website. When does the Doom Cannon come out? Probably in July. For $50, go to Fury X. It's not the same. It's like saying, why would you buy a Honda Civic when you can go out and buy a Bugatti? What's wrong with you? Are you poor? Are you dumb? Why not buy the big expensive supercar? They're different things, obviously. I happen to be somebody who really likes pistols. I will use a Volcanic Pro over a Striker 2.0 any day of the week. I will. I will never touch a Striker 2.0 probably ever again. Volcanic Pro is my new default. Can I recommend the Volcanic Pro over a Nexus Pro X or a Striker? No, not really. But you're talking about I can have all the power of a blaster this big in a blaster that big. Yeah, I'm going to want the smaller, more compact one. It's not pump action, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'll use the blaster in a different way. The XShot spin shot's going to be $45 minimum. Oh, where you live. I can't help you. That's like me complaining about the prices of Kamen Rider toys. You can pick up anything for any price if you look around. ICANN has good game. Like, most Walmarts have cleared out was it even Walmart? I think it was Walmart. Maybe it was Target that carried the Outlaw. Like, I haven't seen one on store shelves in a very long time. Same here. The only constant blaster I ever used is my tuned Vipers. See, all you talking about the Viper tag makes me want to get a Viper at some point. I just don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on a nice one. I wish ZWQ would send me one. I would love to have like a Viper with all the metal pieces and stuff like that. I feel like I should ask. They were going to send me a Viper at one point and they never did. I was surprised I even got the freaking Zebra from them. I'm curious to see how the rotation mech would work with the brake action and T-pole. All of the internals are behind the barrel. Like, even on the Outlaw, everything is behind the cylinder. So it wouldn't change anything. Is the Worker Seagull still worth it in May 2026? Yes, absolutely. What's my favorite full-length dart? I'm going to go with the Nerf Double Punch. I still think it's kind of the best. I would not call the Viper a sidearm. I would not describe that blaster as a side. You need two hands to operate it. What is your absolute favorite blaster? You're asking the wrong question to the wrong person because I never default to one thing. Ever. When I go to a game, I bring like 20 blasters. I use a different one all the time. It's kind of whatever scratches the itch I have at that point. I like the Vesper a lot. I think it's fantastic. I like the Pyre Tusk I just got. I've been playing the crap with that a lot. I love that thing. But it's like, I could also go back to like my metal C330. That's just some of the most fun. I sat here the other day and just took pot shots with the what is that called? The Yeetaw that I got at Ragnarok Oktoberfest for $14. Like, Pink Dragon Tuning still sells them for that price. I played with that thing for like an hour. I probably fired 400, 500 darts through it. I just had a blast with it. Viper is a primary? See, I would agree. It's a primary pistol. So it's like, it's kind of hard for me to see what's the absolute favorite, because I usually don't have one. I love the Lightning. I'm trying to look around and see. I keep some special things right here, but like, so you're like, a lot of people asking like top 5 and stuff. Like, I don't really carry a running top 5. I like the Volcanic a lot. I'm really excited for the Axis Pro. I'm really excited for the Doom Cannon. I like the Vesper a lot. I haven't tested my Solo Pro at range yet. I really need to get that footage before I finish that video. But yeah, it's hard. Like, even things like, I'm critical of the Vesper. I am very critical of the Vesper. I still think it's a wonderful blaster. No, CP, that's like the number one question. It is really frustrating. Like, what's the best blaster? What's this blaster? What's your favorite? What's your top 10? What's your top 20? Your top 100 favorite blasters that are pink? It's like, guys, come on. Personally, find the Thrasher to be so cool. What do you think? Why do you think the spin shot is like? We already have the Thrasher. The Dart Zone Venom Pro. Now, that's not entirely fair. We don't know exactly what the Thrasher would do different than the Venom Pro, but we can make some safe assumptions that we know what the Thrasher's going to be. There are going to be people who have Venom Pros. They're going to look at the Thrasher and not want a Thrasher. There are going to be people that don't have either and are probably still going to go with the Venom Pro. There's a big difference of what you like and what you're looking for. The Thrasher is going to be thick compared to the Venom Pro. That could be a turnoff for a lot of people. It depends. The spin shot's kind of a new thing. There's not a whole lot of blasters like it. And it's going to be inexpensive. May have good mod potential. If it's T-pole prime, it can potentially have some pretty decent mod potential. So I'm excited to see where it goes. Could be a colossal piece of crap. I don't know. What's your opinion on Nerf Rival? Do you think Nerf should make more Rival? I think Rival played its course. Like, unless they want to do new, unique things, which they weren't doing with Rival, I think it's fine being done. I think the Challenger was good. Finally got, like, a proper Strife. But it took them how many years? And the Mirage I thought was actually super cool. I thought the mag was dumb. But in general, I thought the Mirage... I actually like the Mirage better than the Challenger, for the most part. But it still was like a thing, like, it didn't really do anything terribly exciting or new. It just was a really good, compact, better Chronos. Thrasher looks more like a Nightingale, 120 FPS and dual stage trigger. I mean, I wonder if it's the first one or the second one, if it's actually dual stage or what. We don't know. Like, the renders could... We don't know which render we saw was the actual blaster, if either of them. A lot of people are going with, we saw the first one, we saw the second one is clearly the newest one. That's not entirely true. The second picture we saw could have been the first iteration, and the first picture we saw was the second iteration. So the first picture we saw had a rev trigger, or what looked to be obviously a rev trigger. The second one did not. But we don't know which one of those is actually the blaster. We'll find out soon, I'm sure. I guess the only way we'd know is by looking at that picture in the background that was in like some random YouTube video where the Thrasher was initially found. That box, I would more like to guess, would be the final version. But we also have no clue about that. Like, in that picture, can we see the grip? So, in that picture of the XShot Thrasher, the original one that was in the background, that physical box had the rev trigger on it. That's the first one we saw. The second version that we saw on Walmart's website didn't have a rev trigger. Take that at what you will. I know it's annoying that I can't like be like, oh yeah, no, it's gonna be awesome, it's dual stage trigger, blah blah. Yeah, I have to kind of think about this kind of stuff, and I always have to kind of cover my ass. I have to make sure that it's like I always have room for interpretation of what's actually going to happen. So I can kind of deduce either way. It's like with the spin shot. I'm happy either way. It doesn't bother me. I do think, let's say the Thrasher is just a dual stage trigger. So you pull the trigger and it starts revving the flywheels. You pull the trigger all the way, it starts firing. I think that will be a better sidearm than the Venom Pro. Can the MPP take a better battery? Apparently not. I don't know if that's been completely confirmed yet, but from what I saw, a lot of people tried to upgrade the battery, and they... Did I not attempt that the last time I was modding? I need to finish that mod. I grabbed all those blasters, and I was actually even thinking about doing it this time. It's just too freaking cold up here, man. To do a mod to finish that multi-stage trigger mod. But no, yeah, I didn't even test it because I wasn't going to do. I was just going to use stock batteries in this. My original one that I got is different than what the release version was. But the original version I got worked with the 3S LiPo. The one that's on store shelves apparently doesn't. It just doesn't. It just beeps and doesn't work. Has anybody confirmed that? Fin and height. The spin shot is probably going to be 120, 130 FPS. The PCAR isn't really going to do a whole lot. Yeah, Sean, I heard a lot of people try to do 3S LiPos after my video and couldn't. They would just beep. It appears to have a PCAR for a barrel. That is a blessing and a curse. That also means the effective barrel length is like nothing. It's the cylinder. It's kind of wild because, again, like with that blaster, we still don't have confirmation of exactly what's going on. I know you're going to hate this. I'm leaning towards it not having break action and being a T-pole prime. But for $15, I wouldn't complain. Some of you were like, well, why not buy a Fury X? And I mean, that's already come up, so that's why I'm bringing it out. I still think they're different blasters for different people. You're talking like much less weight, and you don't have to rely on a magazine ecosystem. I am a person who doesn't like magazines. I know, that's crazy. I prefer cylinders and blasters that I can top up easily. I don't like magazines. I will use them, and I will like blasters that use them, but if I have the option, I would very much not want to use magazines. I would very much prefer to have blasters that have cylinders or internal mags. I like topping up. I like short engagements, and I like after that, digging in a dump pouch and topping up my blaster and being ready for the next one. Magazines are just kind of like, they're annoying to me. Because it's like, you load up 4 magazines, you have one in your blaster, it encourages you to spam a lot more darts, and you run out of ammo quicker, and then you're like, in the middle of the roar, like, I take out my magazine and top it up, and oh, God forbid if all of your magazines are empty, and you have to like take out one that's currently in your blaster, and top it up, and then wedge back in there and try to get into another fight. It's so annoying. It's like the difference between like a lever action and a semi-automatic. They're different things that your mind realizes. There's something about, if you fired, firearms before, there's something about the lever action shot that is so much different than shot. It feels completely different. Hey, Shockwave. If I can revolver ocelot spin it, I'll be more than happy. Exactly. I'm with you, friend Besto. Which half-length dart is generally better? I think we're kind of reaching the consensus. A lot of people are going to say the Saber T-darts, and that's fine. They're harder to get. They're more expensive. Most people kind of agree that the Nitro Shot Plus darts are pretty darn good. My favorites are these. Oh, God. Ow, my tailbone. Why does this chair hurt my tailbone? Unfortunately, you can't get these because Dart Zone sucks. And what Dart Zone did is they like filed a patent for the bamboo dart. Oh, holy crap. Can you not? I'm not trying to do the thing from Chainsaw Man. These are my favorites. The ones that have the 4 ridges. There's a couple of different variants, but these are the ones I like the most. But these are the, it's chroma keyed out, so you can't see it. But the Nitro Shot Plus are pretty good. Are half-length darts better? Yes, in every conceivable fashion they are better. The worst half-length dart is better than, like, the best full-length, I would say. Like, even cut down, not it's worth doing, but, like, cut down elites are better than elites. That is a big question mark, Ghost Manta. They just said, curious what we'll see from the Dart Zone from Dart Zone for the target line. We have no idea. Keep in mind, the target line is what got us a lot of the cool stuff. Please like so Walcom get a new chair. This is a new chair. I don't know why this one hurts my tailbone, and it's only sometimes. I don't know if it's because, like, the way I'm sitting, because the green screen's behind me. Like, I've tried to Google it. Like, there's something about the way I'm currently sitting that is hurting my tailbone. Because otherwise, this chair is so much better. But, yeah, the last couple of days I've been using it. It's like, sometimes I get up and it's fine. Sometimes I get up and it hurts like heck. I need a new Picatinny reel for my Seagull Nexus as well as stock. What do you recommend on a budget? Well, I mean, you should be able to buy replacement pick rails for them. That shouldn't be an issue whatsoever. Stock? Honestly, I like the one that came with the Harrier. I wonder if you could buy that separately. Otherwise, like any kind of like knockoff Magpul stock is pretty good. I liked the knockoff Magpul stock on my Seagull. Put a pillow behind your lower back. There is an air pillow behind my lower back. I think I just like don't have it adjusted right. there's literally like an air pump pillow. And like there's an adjustment point. Like I just don't know. Like maybe the back is too high up, but I don't. Can I adjust that? Maybe I can. Like I feel like there's a gap between the back of the seat and where the lumbar support is, and it's too high up. I think that's what my problem is. I think it needs to go down like 2 or 3 inches. I'll look at it when I'm done with the stream. But yeah, it literally has like, this chair has a freaking air pump on it. I'm pressing a button that's filling up an air cushion. It's a crazy chair. Given how rapidly flywheel pistols evolve, do you think we'll eventually get a pro AEB style pistol? It already exists. It's called a Quick Edge. I literally have one sitting here. Again, I've kind of already streamed enough, so I'll show it off and see if the stream gets pulled. I need to fix the battery because I left the battery in it, but this is a pistol. This is a Quick Edge, and it's an AEG pistol. It's really good. Just had one of those phantom cats move out of the corner of my eye. There's no cats up here. Are classic full length better than modern? What? What is your opinion? Are the classic full length dart guns better, or are the modern SMG half length darts better? Oh, okay. Yeah, you're equating this to being like a pistol round and the full lengths being rifle round. These are better in every way. They're better than the full length darts in every way. There's absolutely no realm where those darts are worse. Better phantom cats than phantom rats. Did I tell you? I don't think I posted a lot about it. There were mice up here at one point, which is like terrifying. But I remember like I was sitting here once and I just like, you know, at my computer doing my thing. And I saw something move out of the corner of my eye and I looked and there's just like, I think it was called a deer mouse, just chilling, sitting there cleaning itself, standing in the middle of the studio. And I'm like, I don't know how it got up here. I had no idea. And so the next day I came upstairs and there was mouse droppings on my desk. I had to pull all the stuff off my desk and wipe everything down with Lysol and stuff. But I put out one of those, the catchers that you just put peanut butter in it and the mouse goes into it and gets stuck with a big thing of peanut butter. And it was the cutest mouse. And honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that it would carry hantavirus, I would have kept it because it was very polite. I even fed it a piece of Pocky. I fed it Pocky while it was inside the thing. I drove 5 miles down the road, let it go in a bush, in a nice big bushy area. Hopefully it was okay. And just to make sure, I put peanut butter back in the trap and put it in there. And the next day I caught another one. And that was like, oh no. I put that one in the same place I got the other one. This one was significantly less nice. It didn't want anything to do with me. And that made me wonder, it's like, I really hope there's not like a nest with babies in it somewhere up here because I just deported its 2 parents and I felt awful. And I haven't really dug around to look to see if there was. I did put the trap back out with more peanut butter and I didn't catch anything else. But as somebody who loves their rodents, and honestly, it's like, I know these are pests, but there was only 2 of them. And really, like, the worst that happened is they got on my desk and pooped everywhere. I don't know how it even got on my desk. That's a pretty impressive thing for the mouse to do, but I cleaned everything up. That was like, yeah, I think somewhere in the corner near where my range is, that's where I caught both those mice. That's where I put the thing. I'm worried there might be a nest back there with some now very, very fossilized, but I never smelled anything off so I don't know. But yeah. I think since then, maybe I've seen more phantom cats, but ever since like my other cat passed away, it's like I see him out of the corner of my eye all the time. It's really upsetting. But we love our rats. Are you going to get the Saber Super B car? No, I'm not going to buy one. If they want to send one to me to do a video, I will do it, but I'm not going to buy one. It's not going to happen. Everywhere with humans can and will have rodents of some kind. Yeah, we kind of evolved alongside them. My dad used to have a rat when he was a kid. His parents set it free and sold it or something and said it escaped with its rat friends. They still that's kind of cute. But that's not fair. Like, unless it went to a nice home, But rats also only live like 2 years. I'm a cat guy. That breaks my heart. I'm a kind of a cat guy too. I mean, I lost, you know, my best friend for a long time. We still have the original cat that we've had since my wife and I first got together. She's 15, 16, still trucking along. Horribly now addicted to these delectable bisque treats that we got. Feed her 2 of them, and she just sits next to her bowl and meows for more. It's crazy. Super happy. Doesn't seem to want anything to do with the baby though, which is pretty disappointing. Like even if you like put her in the rocker with the baby, she doesn't want anything to do with him. Earlier today though, it's like we have 2 stray cats, or I guess 3 stray cats now that hang out around the house, and I put out a bowl of food for them. And I saw there's always been the gray cat and an orange cat, but another orange cat showed up, and I could tell because the other orange cat has a big white fluffy chest. So yeah, we have stray cats, and it's like I have to feed them. I'm not going to let them. They obviously are hungry. They don't belong to anyone. They don't like people at all. If I even remotely get anywhere outside, like I'll see it on the porch just chilling, and like I was walking to the studio back to the house, and you know, like it just bolts. It wants nothing to do with me, but it will eat my food. Excuse me. Oh, I have a full-length dart gun. When will Walcom have a full-length dart gun that he likes? I like the double punch. I really like the double punch. It'd just be better if it wasn't full-length. Select fire 200 FPS 3-shot chain fed with sniper rifle rocket launcher that fires 1,000,000 darts. Come on. Did you see the updated box art for the Thrasher? Here's the thing. We just talked about this, Tuna. We don't know if that's the updated box art. Oh, I'm assuming you're talking about the post that when it showed up on Walmart a week ago. We don't know if that's updated, or like we've seen 2 versions. We don't know which one is actually the first one and which one is the latest. But I just looked up the original picture from where the box was behind the people talking at Dart Zone or XShot, and that's the first image we saw, and that's the first image that was posted online. The second one that showed up on Walmart is different. So we actually don't know like which one is actually legit. It could be neither of them. I'm sorry to hear that cats. The thing is, cats can live to be like 30. They're crazy. They live forever. Why do you not like full-length darts? They're worse than half darts in every way. Half darts are better. They're smaller, so you can carry more of them. They're more accurate. They travel farther because they can utilize more barrel. They're just better. There's nothing full-lengths do that half darts don't do better. Is the XShot revolver a T-pole or hammer prime? We don't know, but it looks like to be a T-pole. The initial thing about that was somebody reached out to me and said, hey, I know a guy who apparently has one. He's been legit on other leaks, and he says it has a T-pole prime. But then that same person never said if it had break action or not. So... full darts are more practical for backyard battles. That's not a thing. How is it more practical? That's a buzzword. It doesn't mean anything. Most fun blaster in my opinion? It's a good question. The most fun I've had recently. What have I found that has been the most fun? Like, I keep going like the volcanic and stuff like that, because that blaster actually blew me away with how much I enjoyed it. Hey, Black Widow. They should make an... I like triangles. I wonder if Nerf will make a ghillie suit. They should make a Murph suit. I still don't get half-length snipers. Like, it's a sniper supposed to be a fire huge rounds. That's not how it works. You know what? You'd never make it in airsoft. Because the smallest pistol and the biggest sniper rifle, LMG rocket launcher, all shoot the same thing. A 6mm BB. Like, you'd never make it in airsoft. Hey, Michael. I'm excited for all the new foam flinging in 2026. I just hope the new Nerf stuff is not clipped together. Yeah, it seems kind of monkey paw, doesn't it, Shockwave? Your first mod is converting a Flip 32 to use half darts. That sounds tedious. Very tedious. There's no reason it couldn't be done. You just rip out the dart pegs. You'd still have the pronged, you know, smart AR, the AR system, but as long as you didn't rip out the whole AR, it would work fine. Speaking of airsoft, do you think there'll ever be a commercial gas blowback Nerf gun? No, because there's no reason to do that. Nerf uses so much more energy than an airsoft BB that it's like, even airsofters like, yeah, gas blowback is just a waste of a bunch of energy, but it's fine because we're shooting 6mm PBs. But when you convert that to, you know, a 1.3 gram Nerf dart, you know, that's like, now you're wasting a lot of energy, and it's a consumable. So why would you? That's because it's not going to increase the FPS. There's a smart AR. There's only so much air pressure that can come out every single time, and there's not enough barrel length. You know, the stock Nerf blaster, the actual barrel is like that much. So yeah, you're not going to get much performance boost out of that because it's only gripping the back, like that much of the dart, no matter what. The rest of it isn't the barrel, it's just empty space. So yeah, you're not going to get much performance boost. But if you're talking like shoot, like get a long shot, an XShot series long shot. It's like the half darts are better in every single way. And that's utilizing the full everything that the XShot long shot could use for a full length. Depends on how you play, fellow Jays. If you're a close quarters kind of person, Strife X. If you're not, AEB. Yeah, the Judge it's super fun because it's so ridiculously big. That priming linkage is garbo. That was the folly of the Judge. Mag Strike? Mag Strikes are good. I think it was GDL the Wise that made like, they took like an air tank and hooked them up to 2 Mag Strikes so they could just mag dump at Mag Strikes forever. I think everybody's done that, Real Steel. Everything, Lazy Luca. But I hope you did well in your competition. The only bad thing about the Judge is it takes forever to reload. No, it's also the fact that the thing, unfortunately, very, very terrible priming linkage. Like, it's got an awful priming linkage, and even if you try to mod it whatsoever, then it just doesn't rotate because the clutch system just can't handle it. It sucks. It's also just a kind of ugly, terrible blaster. The Junk Jet from Fallout is more aesthetically pleasing and aerodynamic than a Nerf the Judge. But there's certain charm in a blaster like that. There's certain charms in big frick-off Nerf blasters. They're just cool. Welcome, do you have any pets? I have a cat, 2 rats, guinea pig, baby. Can you call that a pet? I would. Do you think Dart Zone will try to make a blaster directly competes with the XShot piston pump? I don't think so. What's the point of them just trying to make a blaster that competes with it when they could just make flywheelers that are as good, if not better? I don't like flywheelers. They're too loud. You're missing the point. You use the loudness of the flywheelers as a deterrent, as a psychological weapon. Nerf needs to get off the smart AR system bad. They are so addicted to it. The Nerf Doomlands naming convention is so funny. Like, when did Hasbro suddenly decide to switch to social commentary? What was the social commentary? Are you talking about the Judge? I'm pretty sure the Judge is named after Judge Holden from Blood Meridian, which is like a really weird thing to put in a toy series for kids. It's the only thing that makes any sense, though, unless they're like going after, like, you know, the firearm. I've held one of those. I've never fired one, but I held one. And my God, is that thing just I can understand why people don't like them, because it's just horribly awkward. I imagine the governor is even worse. Is Nerf going to come back, or is it going to fail forever? I mean, we're pretty excited for the the Rebel Ops Doom Cannon. And if they're smart, it'll have a decent amount of mod potential. Even right out of the box. Like, it'd be nice if you could just shove a bigger spring in and get more power. Yeah, but the fact is it's called the Judge. That's what makes me think. Because it's not called Judge. It's called the Judge. And that's what they called Judge Holden. They called him the Judge. The Judge, the Judge, the Judge. And that's what makes me think that it's named after Judge Holden from Blood Meridian. It's the only thing that kind of makes sense to me. It was also kind of a Western themed. I could be entirely wrong. That's my headcanon. Is that it's named after the Judge Holden from Blood Meridian. Is there any other reason why NERF Pro failed? Price wasn't even the reason NERF Pro failed. So, NERF Pro, bless their heart, they tried to do different things that were on in-store shelves. Like, somebody just asked, like, do you think XShot will try to compete with the AEB and make their own AEB? I don't think so. I think XShot making the Thrasher is super weird because the Venom Pro already exists. It doesn't mean they can't do it, but what you're effectively doing is, like, everybody already bought a Venom Pro. If the Thrasher isn't as good as a Venom Pro, then you're alienating that entire audience of people who already bought a Venom Pro. What you're banking on is that there's enough new people to buy the Venom Pro, and you could put it out in more places that would buy it to make it worthwhile. Or you're doing something different enough from the Venom Pro to make it worthwhile to get the Thrasher. That's a really weird thing to do. So if you look at XShot, what pump action magazine fed springers did they put out? The first Pro Blast they put out was one, and it was a bullpup. At the time, there really wasn't a bullpup to compete with. And it was a bullpup that still performed as good, if not better, than most of its contemporaries. It had an issue, sure, but let's ignore that for right now. Dart Zone is putting out pump action magazine fed springer, pump action magazine fed springer. They're all kind of the same. The next Pro X, the Striker 2.0, they are different. They are very different. They're still the same. They fill the same role. It's whatever preference you want to come down to. And that cannibalizes your own sales. But also notice the Nexus Pro X was Walmart. The Striker 2.0 was Target. So they were sold at different retailers. And if you lived in a big city or you had a credit card and the ability to access the internet, you could get whatever one you wanted. But if XShot were to just come out and make a Striker 2.0, well, again, now you're like, last year I bought one. How many of you bought one? Now there's an XShot version. Is it better? Maybe. But it's like, then we already wasted money. Like, it would feel bad. It would have to be good enough to warrant picking up the same blaster again. So it doesn't make sense for XShot or for Dart Zone to just make a motorized piston pump and put it out on store shelves when they're already going to be dealing with the people who already bought a motorized piston pump. They would have to do something different and better. If XShot, like if Dart Zone put out a bullpup AEG, that would have a shot because it's different. It's a side grade. You're looking at side grades, or it would just have to be so much better it's ridiculous. That's also possible, but I doubt it. That's like, people are like, yeah, I like the BK1S, blah, 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 blah. But I think just about everyone would be like, yeah, but the motorized piston pump's just better. Like, oh, well, the BK1S is shorter, it has a better cycle rate on 3S, all this stuff. Yeah, but it's not good enough to warrant spending double to triple the price of a motorized piston pump. How much is the BK1S right now? Let's find out. BK1S. Let's see, 160, 150. Yeah, it's like 150, 178. Yeah. How much is a motorized piston pump? $59, $60 at Walmart right now. Probably cheaper if you shop around. You see what I mean? It's not that it's a bad blaster. It's that the motorized piston pump is just much better. Like, what do you gain by spending an extra triple the price? Not enough to warrant that price point. The same thing happens with this blaster, right? The Vesper is insanely good. But even if you go with like the cheapest option, which is, I think, like M16 whatever, HC Vesper, M416 gel blaster or whatever, I think has it for like $230 or something, and then you can pay an extra, like, you know, a couple of bucks to get the counter thing. So Ideal Foam Blaster has it for $302, and they aren't expecting that delivery until May. Hopefully that has the battery fixed. M416 gel blaster, they have it for $260. I'm sorry, you can really like whatever shop you want. I've personally bought stuff from M416 Gel Blaster. They have never sponsored my channel. They've never sent me product. I've bought stuff from them multiple times, never had an issue. I even reached out to them from my normal email, not my Walcom one, asking them if they still had the stuff for the Quick Edge laying around, because I wanted to buy every single attachment I could for that blaster. And they sent me a link that had all that stuff for me to buy, and I bought it. That's super cool. And it showed up in a timely fashion and everything like that. Why the hell would you not just buy the cheapest option? I've actually talked to M416 because they have a ton of blasters I want to do videos on, and I don't have the money to buy all of them. I asked them if they wanted to send some over for me to do a video. They said yes, but nothing showed up. They have free shipping, and they don't have tariffs. They apparently the tariffs are not a thing that they have to worry about. So why would you not just buy the $260 one? Why would you spend more than that? Because, like, why would you spend $100 more when you can buy one for $100 less? You know what I mean? Yeah, the controller's expensive, but it's like, yeah, you can get whatever color you want. Man, the red one goes hard. But yeah, awesome. Well, but again, the original point is this $300 better than a Maxim? And that's the crux of the entire argument, is that this is amazingly cool, but I don't, like, I can rationalize it because I literally do this for a living. But to those of you out there, do you want an HC Vesper? I'm sure you do. Do you need now? For 1/3 the price, you could get, like, you could just go out and buy a Vector, and it's going to be pretty close. The Axis is a, what, 60, 70? I think it's $70. You could buy like 5 Axes for the cost of one Vesper. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's worth it. I think the Axis, especially if it's like, if it hits, I think it's at 180 FPS. If the Axis seriously hits 180 FPS, that's what the Vesper hits. You see the problem? I'm not saying the Vesper isn't amazing, but for 99% of people, just buy an Axis Switch, bro. Don't even look at the Vesper. The Vesper is for a very specific type of person. Like 9 times out of 10, it's like, should you buy a worker Harrier? You buy a long shot, an XShot Pro Series long shot. You throw in a new spring, a new barrel, and a new plunger tube. All in, you're probably $60, $70 total, plus shipping. Like, that's with shipping included, I feel. And that is going to be so much better than, like, or so much more comparable to a Harrier. You wouldn't even, like, then you'd be like, yeah, the Harrier's a really nice blaster, but I paid like 1/3 the price and got a blaster that's comparable. And if you're stock net Axis, or if your stock long shot pro breaks, You spend another $20 and buy a new one and slam your upgrade parts in that one. You could do that like 10 times before you come to the price of a Harrier. And I don't remember what it hit, but I'm pretty sure like mine in my video hit like 240, 250 FPS. Yeah, Harrier can hit like 300, 400, I guess. Do you need that? And even then, it's like, I can think of probably cheaper blasters that would still do that. There is, like, the Vesper is probably the nicest feeling blaster I've ever had in my hands. But it's like, can I recommend it to everyone? No. I'm never going to do that. I love it. I love it a lot, but I could never recommend it. Rev Ops comes out in July. This is true. I'm pretty sure that's it. Access according to Dart Zone Rep is 110, 160. So it's like, yeah, you might be right. That, like, but how hard would it be? If we throw a 3S LiPo in that Vesic, is that going to change it to 300 something? You know what I mean? Leo, you're no, this is mine. I've like worn this thing into the ground, dude. I've been wearing this thing for like 6 years. It's comfy. I like how it's like, it's not super thick. It's warm enough. And it's like, it's not a solid color. So if I have like dandruff or something, you can't see it. It's great. I like the Seagull, but I can't justify getting one when I have an XShot long shots. Exactly. It's not that the Seagull isn't better, but it's the way the Seagull's better is that it's more durable and it's nicer feeling. And like, how do people justify buying saber blasters? They're indestructible. Basically. That's how you justify it. So if you're like, I go to every Nerf event and I'm constantly playing, yeah, I'll spend $600 on a blaster. I can rationalize that. I'm going to use it all the time. And for somebody like me, it's like, it's super easy to forget that I have access to all of this crap. So it's like, it's hard sometimes for me to even realize, oh, right, you can't rationalize spending $500 on a foam dart toy. Luckily, my psyche is that I love it when stuff is really inexpensive. I do. My number one thing is like, I will always recommend some of the cheap. I'm doing it right now. Oh yeah, guys, you should only go buy a Sweetheart Storm for $500 or whatever it is. No, nobody needs that. I love the Sweetheart Storm. I still, in that video, I'm like, yeah, don't buy this unless you have, I can't even find a game to take. Well, there's this one game in Oregon you can take it to. They meet up once every 3 months and like there's 6 guys there. It's like, sure. Or I could just be glad I have the blaster and maybe someday I'll have a use for it. Who knows? But it's like, unless your game, like, you know who the Sweetheart Storm's for? The Australian guys that shoot in the bush. Yeah, they need that 300 FPS semi-auto. Heck yeah. We don't. So like when it comes to Vesper, it's like, it's nice. It's very cool. I love it. It has a minor issue that could be a major issue depending on how good you are. I still love it, and if you really want one, there's a link in the description. Actually, I'm not even linking it. I tell you to go buy it from M14, whatever, Gel Blaster, because it's $100 cheaper than anywhere else. Yeah. Before you buy something expensive, already you can get something cheaper for that. Yeah, it's again like the main point is that you can buy an XShot long shot. I think at Walmart right now, the long shot, $20. You could buy one right now for $19 plus tax, right? Then you buy a barrel, $10 maybe, plunger tube, $10, $15 maybe, and a spring, $10 maybe. Shipping, $5 to $10, maybe 15. Now those parts will not go away. So if you go out there and you run your XShot long shot and you break it, oh no. Buy 5 long shots. If you're worried about them breaking, buy 5 of them. Because you're still at like half the price of a worker Harrier. That's the problem. The Kunlun, fantastic blaster. But yeah, that bolt action and stuff like that, unless you absolutely have to have that, you can find it cheaper somewhere else. It's not that those blasters aren't super nice and worth getting, but most of the time, everybody's going to be fine with the cheaper option. Not everybody needs a Lambo. Not everybody needs a McLaren. Not everybody needs a Bugatti. Especially if you have like a freaking 600 horsepower Honda Civic or some crap. Not a thing, but you get what I'm talking about. All right. I rambled. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I really do. I like to gab. I will have the Vesper video out very, very soon. It's taken me a long time to edit it down because like I showed you last week, it was like 20 minutes long. I've narrowed that down, but hopefully it's an okay. You'll have to let me know. The video's going to get 4,000 views and that's it. But once I get that video out of the way, it'll be a lot easier. And I have a lot of sponsors coming up, so I have to get videos out. So you get what I'm saying. Love you all. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great night. I like my working switch because it's gigantic. Exactly. There are some people that are like that. Take care, everyone. How do I turn this thing off?